Shalom, all praises to Yahweh, Ba'Shem Yahushai, Ba'Shem HaRakakadash, double honors to the apostles and elders, great most honor all well, and Shalom to the brothers doing the work of Syrian truth, the hopeful elect. So you got this article on Reuters, well, on Yahoo, from Reuters, talking about Canada getting that reverse immigration, which, for me, just the scriptures spring to mind, man, because now is a time where it's that Western world's feeling the heat. Because why? The prophecies speaking, and that basically means everything's turning up on this side, everything's turning up over here to where it's people that they've basically been viewing the Western world through that old 50s 60s kind of view of America and the Western world. Like, yo, you come there, it's the streets are paved with gold. If you're working as a bin man, you're gonna be able to buy a mansion and whatnot. And you could do that. You'd be able to come over and nice yourself. And a lot of them, it's like they'll build up back home and then go back and live like kings. But now it's even that dream is done. So it says Canada's surging cost of living fuels reverse immigration. It says the dream of making it big in Canada is turning into a battle for survival for many immigrants due to the high cost of living and rental shortages, as rising immigration numbers hint at newcomers being forced to turn their back on a country that they chose to make their adopted home. Yeah, and even with the it's obviously going into Canada, but that's very similar over here. Over here in the UK, they've been talking about the rental prices skyrocketing and how there's way less properties. It's funny because like a factor into that is like Airbnb as well. A lot of people that had places that they were renting have now made them into like Airbnbs because they can just kind of rent out the same place like 3-4 times in the space of a month and make 4-5 times what they'll make just normally renting it out. So you've now had like laws passing on like essentially limiting the amount that this can be done, but it's all kind of snowballing with, because it's like cost of living's gone up, energy's gone up, all these various factors have been impacted by it as well. So it's all coming to a boil, because that's the thing. It's like there's been these little issues drip feeding slowly over time, and now it's being felt to where. And the funny thing is as well is like immigration is what kind of keeps a lot of industries running. I remember during the pandemic in over here, there was a summer where they were like for it was for strawberries. I remember it was like harvesting strawberries. There wasn't enough people to do it. They said it was like Eastern European migrants that basically did that job exclusively. Same with what do you call it, care homes. That's why they started, like over here they started offering extended stay or like green cards or whatever if you worked in a care home, because there was no one working in the care homes. And then for the what do you call it, the strawberry field, they were like offering it to people that were unemployed to come and work in there and make money essentially. So it's these things have been here, but now it's basically hitting that crisis point, or it's really just a thing where now it's being noticed. So it says Prime Minister Justin Trudeau has made immigration his main weapon to blunt Canada's big challenge of an aging and slowing population, and it's also helped fuel economic growth that drove Canada's population up at its fastest clip in more than 6 decades this year, Statistics Canada said. So yeah, with with these things, with what do you call it? Let's say economic growth. Well, not even that. With the aging population, that's something that a lot of these countries are feeling, because they're saying even for like China's about to have like a big, because they did the one child policy, then two child. I think it's still two child policy now. For a long while, that generation from before, where it was expanding, that's now they're now aging out to where it's like you're going into the next generation, and there's not like there's nowhere near as many you know young people, because they were restricting it. So they're thinking like, yo, how's that gonna impact our our economy and whatnot, how they can function. And again, it's like the solution everyone says is always, immigrants. But then it's like, if the shit's not, if you're gonna go there and it's gonna be dead food, that ain't even gonna work. Because why, it's toast. So it says, but now a reversal of the trend is gradually taking hold. In the first 6 months of 2023, some 42,000 individuals departed Canada, adding to 93,000 people who left in 2022, 85,000 people exits in 2021, official data shot. So there's been, huge people moving out. So the rate of immigrants leaving Canada hit a 2-decade high in 2019, according to a recent report from the Institute for Canadian Citizenship, an immigration advocacy group. While the numbers went down during the pandemic lockdowns, Statistics Canada data shows it is once again rising. While that is a fraction of the 263,000 who came to the country over the same period, a steady rise in immigration is making some observers wary. For a nation built on immigrants, a rising trend of people leaving Canada risks undermining one of Justin Trudeau's government signature policies. So yeah, it's funny because it's like after 2020, the shift, really came, and it's funny because like it's become clearer and clearer. There's these issues that they've had in these countries really like since the 2008 financial crash, kind of essentially crippled the economy to where it's artificially being it's like a zombie economy, man. It's being sustained, and that impacts globally. So it's like, and that's the thing is, even with the lockdowns, there's like what happened, just pumping hella money, and now it's like there's rampant inflation, prices of all kinds of shit going up, and then because of these wars as well, trade's been restricted on a bunch of things. And the cost of fuel's going up, so it's like it's real shit hitting to where now it's getting peak. Because now you talk to a few people. What was it? So it says Myung 55 migrated to Canada from Myanmar over 3 decades ago and made a successful career as a real estate agent and a restaurateur, but he plans to retire in a country like Thailand since he cannot see himself maintaining his living standards in Canada on his retirement income. Phil I ain't going to pronounce that, a political science professor specializing in immigration at the University of Toronto, said rapid immigration is exacerbating the housing shortage. It's not surprising, then, that people who have options either go to another country or go back home, having had a taste of the situation in Canada. Last month, Trudeau's government capped its target for new residents at $500,000 per year from 2025 onwards. So yeah, it's like if you have an option, go to another country or go back home, which, read the scriptures, it's there. Isaiah 13, it says, therefore I will shake the heavens And the earth shall remove out of her place in the wrath of the Lord Jah of hosts, in the day of his fierce anger. And it shall be as the chase roll, and as a sheep that no man taketh up. They shall every man turn to his own people, and flee every one into his own land. Yeah, and that's the thing, is when that uh, judgment is coming down, it's people are gonna be scarpering, man. Because why? There's a reason, the reason they're coming over is because it shined bright like a diamond. uh, what's it? That fucking that New York State of Mind, man. Where you got Alicia Keys, screaming about New York. Glory. It's been glorified, yeah, in the world. It's basically been upheld, man. The way LA is was it Los Angeles, the city of angels, man. People are looking at it like, damn. They got the weather, they got the money, they got the lifestyle. It's gonna be on the beach, living in endless bliss. That's how people are looking. And they'll be in a village somewhere. They'll be in a favela. They'll be in a slum. And then they're gonna be looking at that like, yo, this is it. But that all that's gonna come to an end when this that destructions are getting laid down. It's why would anyone even be looking at that shit? It's gonna be toast. As I read this, Isaiah 47:7, it says, "And thou saidest, I shall be a lady forever, so that thou didst not lay these things to thy heart, neither didst remember the latter end of it. Therefore, hear now this, thou that art given to pleasures, that dwellest carelessly, that sayest in thine heart, I am, and none else beside me. I shall not sit as a widow, neither shall I know the loss of children." And yeah, really with America, these guys were thinking, what? I'll be a lady forever. They're thinking like, yo, who's even gonna be able to to come against or to say shit? It's they'll be talking like, yo, it can't be touched. And that's really been the mindset. People like even with who can make war with the beast, man. Everyone's looking like, yo, these guys, like, they got the military, they got the monetary, or everything. Hollywood goes out everywhere. Everyone's thinking like, yo, this is the spot. But then what? That's all that shine has decayed, man. It says, verse 9, "But these two things shall come to thee in a moment, in one day, the loss of children and widowhood. They shall come upon thee in their perfection, for the multitude of thy sorceries, and for the great abundance of thine enchantments. For thou hast trusted in thy wickedness, thou hast said, none seeth me. Thy wisdom and thy knowledge have perverted thee, and thou hast said in thine heart, I am, and none else beside me." And yeah, that's what Esau's leaned on. Esau's been leaning on our left-hand side, man. All that wickedness. That's been the means by which it's essentially Esau's been able to sustain his kingdom, his rulership. But then what? It's essentially been thinking the judgment ain't gonna come down, but that's not something that exists as something that Esau has any say in, man. Therefore shall evil come upon thee, thou shalt not know from whence it riseth, and mischief shall fall upon thee, thou shalt not be able to put it off, and desolation shall come upon thee suddenly, which thou shalt not know. Yeah, it's all these things that essentially, and the thing is, that's the fault of like Esau's economy, Esau's lifestyle, where it's just gonna keep growing, increasing, and gaining, which is like the capitalist mindset, where you basically just continue to amass more and more and more. That's all. That's basically ceased to be. That's found to be a lie, man. That's found to be confusion, and it's going to be confirmed. Because when it comes to end, how's it going to stand? Revelation 18:2, and it says, "And he cried mightily with a strong voice, saying, Babylon the Great is fallen, and is become the habitation of devils, and hold of every foul spirit, and cage of every unclean and hateful bird." Yeah, after America gets put on smash, after the missiles get hit, it's gonna be, it's gonna be peak. It's gonna be legendary. We'll say, "For all the nations have drunk of the wine of the wrath of her fornication, and the kings of the earth have committed fornication with her, and the merchants of the earth are waxed rich through the abundance of her delicacies." Yeah, so they're basically all caught up in a mindset. They're all completely engrossed within that what do you call it? That system, man. That American system. And they've grown rich. They got money for it. Their lifestyle was changed. And that's really what, the appeal. That's the draw. That's been the draw. That's why, these guys are talking like, oh, it said, it became a restaurateur, a real estate mogul. It said 30 years ago. So chances are, if he was on the ladder before the 2008 financial crash, he could have still been nice. And then even after, it's funny because it's like people that had money. It's the same thing that happened during 2020 pandemic lockdowns. During the lockdowns, like the super rich, they bought up more. They got even more land for cheap. Like Bill Gates buying up the farming land, and then what they say? They said like the billionaires gained way more money during that time than during just normal times. Because why? Because they're fucking making a killing out there. It's funny as hell still, but and that's really who this system exists for. It's for those for the elite, man. For those particular those with from those particular banking families and with links to them, who essentially they can make full use of the range of it. But then what, you'll have people getting crumbs on the table on the bottom where they might think they're on a super level, and even then there's people who see those guys getting the crumbs, and that's what they're aspiring for, man. They're desirous to partake. It says, "And I heard another voice from heaven saying, Come out of her, my people, that ye be not partakers of her sins, and that ye receive not of her plagues. For her sins have reached unto heaven, and the Most High hath remembered her iniquities. Reward her even as she rewarded you, and double unto her, double according to her works. And the cup which she hath filled, fill to her double. How much she hath glorified herself, and lived deliciously, so much torment and sorrow give her. For she saith, In her heart I sit a queen, and am no widow, and shall see no sorrow." That's been the mindset. Other than what is it? Pearl Harbor. That they'll say it's like America's not been touched, man. America ain't had that taste of war on the land, which is why it's like you'll have movies, you'll have like what is it? Olympus Has Fallen. Yeah, video games like Modern Warfare 2, where like Russia invaded America. You'll have these situations presented of it, but as far as for the elites, they're thinking it's going to be to their benefit. But then what? It's these things is going to come down to. You're basically still caught within prophecy, man. These guys are thinking they've they might have got around it. They might have some slipped and slid, and just worked their way around that prophecy. But they're still within it, man. They're still they're still going to receive their judgment. Therefore shall plagues come in one day, death and mourning and famine, and she shall be utterly burned with fire, for strong as the Most High Power judgeth her. And the kings of the earth who have committed fornication with her, and lived deliciously with her, shall bewail her and lament for her, when they shall see the smoke of her burning. And yeah, that's all these different nations, man. These guys all live. They got that good money, that good lifestyle as far as they see it. They're thinking like, yo, this this is what I'm down for. This is what I'm here for. This is what I'm about. But what is it? They shall bewail her and lament for her when they shall see the smoke of her burning, standing far off for the fear of her torment, saying, Alas, alas, that great city Babylon, that mighty city, for in 1 hour is thy judgment come, and the merchants of the earth shall weep and mourn over her, for no man buyeth their merchandise anymore. Yeah, to draw the appeal for America is what is that money, that delicious life, man. These are the things that have people coming, clamoring, have them obsessed. That Americanization that you have happening all over the world. I remember, like me and my brother, we went to Ghana like early 2000s, man, like 2003 or some shit, and it was like just hella Americanization. Everyone's trying to present and live like Americans, like they see on the TV, and that's all over. Everyone's thinking like, yo, that's the lifestyle. But what is, that judgment, when it lays down, it's going to be nothing but tears, man. Because all that, hope, all that investment, all that you're putting your energy into, its prophecy was always there, man. I'll finish on this. Revelation 3:10, it says, Because thou hast kept the word of my patience, I will also keep thee from the hour of temptation, which shall come upon all the world to try them that dwell upon the earth. And that's that's why we labor how we labor, because what we want to be preserved, man. We want to be kept through the hour of temptation, which was say, come to try them that dwell upon the earth. Everyone's being tried, man. And that's the thing, is these people, a lot of these guys, when that trying comes, they're going to skedaddle, man. They're going to flee back to their land. Because why? All the dreams, all that's basically being presented in this place is going to be found to be complete dead food, man. And that's going to be made crystal clear. Like all that they're investing in, they're hoping in, it's not going to be to their benefit. It says, Behold, I come quickly. Hold that fast which thou hast, that no man take thy crown. And that's really for the brothers, man. Hold fast what you got. Don't let anyone take your crown. So yeah, I'll leave it there. Shalom. Shalom. Yeah, but shalom.